Okay. Raj, how do you fix a problem? Ooh, that's a big one. A very, very big question, Raj, but said in so few words. This is not the kind of compression I mean, but well done. It's interesting, isn't it? How do you fix a problem? Isn't this what we'd all like to know? How to fix a problem? If there was only one way we could fix a problem. Well, there isn't, of course, because no two people are the same. No two problems are the same. However, what there is a similarity in the way that problems are maintained. So let me come back to you, Raj, with a quick answer. Literally an answer that pretty much covers almost every problem. Okay. It's about how a problem is maintained. There's two things. There's the problem, there's the cause and the result of the problem, the symptom, if you like. Then there's the way it's maintained in life, daily life. That's why the clients come to see you. It's not because of the cause. It's not because of the symptom. It's the fact that it keeps on happening over and over again. It's the maintenance of that problem. This is why they come to see us. So why are we going to waste our time just trying to deal with these two components, cause and symptom, when we can wipe the whole thing out by looking at what's maintaining it, the structure that's maintaining, and it's this structure that we need to look at if we want to find out the answer to Raj's question, how do you fix a problem? Okay, three things, okay? Thought, feeling, action. Every problem has this, regardless. The thought may be conscious or it may be unconscious. Either way, it's still there. Thought, feeling, action. If the thought doesn't produce a feeling, then there's no action. The emotion, the feeling is the fuel that drives the action or the behavior or the symptom. Thought, feeling, action. Think of that. Remember that. Thought, feeling, and action. And let's put it into the frame of context, because the context is the part that determines how successful we'll be with doing therapy on the maintenance of a problem. Okay. Thought, feeling, action. But you do need the context. The context determines how we interpret the thought, feeling, and action. Because certain problems, in certain contexts, aren't problems. They might be a skill, an ability. Take obsessive compulsive behavior. Okay, that's a problem in many different contexts. But can you think of a context where being obsessive would be really a useful tool, like you're studying for your exams? I mean, seriously, I'm not just joking. There are some contexts where your ability to really think, and obsessively connect things would be a useful skill. Maybe if you're Sherlock Holmes or something like that. So don't take for granted that the thought, feeling, action is going to solve it on its own. You must always consider context. So whenever a client comes to see you, you have to consider context. Now, what is a context? The context could be, there's two kinds of context, actually. There's context in terms of geographically, where the problem happens. And the second is when. When is a context? Because, I'm sure some of the older gentlemen watching this, maybe my age, back in the 60s and 70s, had long hair. Now look, different context. Time is a context, right? Not only have I not got long hair, I wouldn't want long hair. But then I thought it was really wonderful, of course. So it's context determines how you interpret. So come back to you again. This is a big program, of course, a big subject to talk about, of course. So Raj, how do you fix a problem? Well, no two people are the same, as I said. No two people, no two problems are the same. But the structure of how a problem is maintained is pretty much always the same. Thought produces a feeling, feeling produces a behavior. The unfortunate thing, and this is related to context, is if the client doesn't stop there, thought, feeling, action, okay, finish, end of story, no problem. But then has a thought about the action, like this is inappropriate, I don't like the way I'm running away from dogs. That thought then produces another feeling, like I can't cope. The feeling produces the action of helplessness. You have a thought about the helplessness. The helplessness says, okay, I've got to do something. There's a feeling of I'm panic or whatever. And it loops around. And then it's out of control. And it's often at that point where the client will come and see us. So we need to get that loop and break it in two places, where the thought is and the feeling is. So the action, right at the bottom of the feeling, before the action occurs. Thought, feeling, snip, big pair of scissors. Okay. If we can master that, what happens then? We don't deal with the actual experience, the cause as it happened. We deal with the way that it's replayed in the brain through synaptic connections neurologically. The old hardwired kind of patterns that were installed when that trauma happened and reinforced every time that loop's been going around, we override it. We have to override it and change it. If we do that, then the client is free from that thought, feeling, behavior pattern. So thank you for that question, Raj. It's a great question. How do you fix a problem? There you go.